So tell us, what is the difference between a personal chef and a private chef?
Well, put plainly, a private chef is works for a particular person or family. They have a job.
Are there any different skill sets that you would have to have as if you're doing private chef work or personal chef?
I think the biggest difference, the biggest skill set difference is. Hi, I'm Chef Lisa Brooks, and on today's episode, you're going to learn the difference between a private chef and a personal chef. And I got Cynthia here with me today. Hello, Cynthia.
Hello, hello.
This is a big question because people confuse this all the time. Chefs confuse this all the time.
Yeah, you're right, because it's very interesting. When we first started talking about it, I was like, I didn't really realize there was a difference, and I'm sure a lot of people don't realize that there's a difference. So tell us, what is the difference between a personal chef and a private chef?
Well, put plainly, a private chef works for a particular person or family. They have a job, like Oprah Winfrey's private chef, or some celebrities' private chef, or a private family's chef. They work for them. They're at their beck and call. It's a job for them. They have a salary, and that's their job. They're not an independent chef entrepreneur. A personal chef is an independent chef entrepreneur that has a product or offerings, and they serve several families, individuals, or persons. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, it does. It
at
does.
the base, that's what it is.
Are there any different skill sets that you would have to have as if you're doing private chef work or personal chef?
I think the biggest difference, the biggest skill set difference is business skills. A private chef is not an entrepreneur. They're a chef and they're working as a chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to know about bookkeeping or hiring or things that someone who's self-employed as and a business owner needs to know. So a personal chef needs to be an entrepreneur and needs to know how to run a business, have systems in place and marketing, and they wear a lot of hats. You wear a lot of hats as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. And so I think that's one of the biggest differences, is that you have a whole business to run. You have clients to contact. You need systems for that. You need to invoice, quote, contract, planning and all of these things. Whereas the private chef, they're working for that one family. Again, they're on salary. They don't have to do those things. They're not concerned about client acquisition, marketing all the time. It's a job.
So that's interesting, because even if it was like would a private chef be like so it wouldn't be necessarily a contract work type thing?
Well, I mean, that would be, obviously the deal they have with that
Is that different?
that family. But I mean, it could be on a contract. Typically, it's a job. Like, they get interviewed, they're hired by this family or person. It's intended to be a long-term, relationship, or a long-term situation. So there's some perceived stability there, right? And there's no real perceived stability when you're an entrepreneur,
right,
or a small business. Like, the phone needs to keep ringing, the emails need to keep coming in. You need to keep you're always marketing. You're worried about client retention. Like, you're running a small business. So I've never worked as a private chef. I've never worked for one family. I'd never wanted to, because I didn't want a job. I left a job to go in business for myself. So I didn't just want another job. And I've been asked. And it's just, no, thank you. I don't want to be at a single person or single family's beck and call.
Well, for those out there, for your listening audience,
yes.
So what would be are there any advantages or disadvantages as far as being a personal chef? And I know you've named a few, as far as, working for yourself and it not necessarily being a job. But for those that are looking at the differences, what would you say would be the difference that they would need to think about?
So I guess there would be pros and cons in either case, just like with really any decision you're going to make in your life. Do I want the security or stability of working a job in a restaurant and a food truck and whatever the case may be? Like, do I want to work for someone else, because everyone is not built to be an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Entrepreneurship is not for the faint at heart, right?
Right.
So if you don't want to have to think about that, you just want to wake up, go to work, you know, do your job, put your earbuds on, cook, you know,
Mm-hmm.
go home, go, you know, like you're just focused on your job,
Yeah.
right? And so, and if that's you and that's what you'd love to do, I mean, that's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, if you want that creative freedom,
Mm-hmm.
you want that time freedom,
Mm-hmm.
you want there to be no limit on the amount of money that you can make,
Mm-hmm.
then a personal chef is more ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But you do need to be an entrepreneur. You need to have entrepreneurial abilities. You need to be able to um, market, be able to run your business systems. You need to answer the phone, answer emails. You gotta,
Mm-hmm.
you know, take payments and all of those things. So, in some cases, you have to be a leader,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you have a team, or you know, even just a couple of servers or someone that's working for you as an admin or whatever, you've got
Mm-hmm.
to become now a leader.
Yeah.
And so again, that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants that responsibility. So it's really going to be a matter of personal preference, and also um, just your skill set
Mm-hmm.
as to whether you want the responsibility to be an entrepreneur.
Remind us how long you've been doing this again.
I have been a personal chef for 15 years.
Okay.
I've been cooking my entire life,
Mm-hmm.
but I started this business 15 years ago here in Charlotte, my local business. And from the moment that I started, I knew I wanted to be a personal chef.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I'm leaving a job,
Right.
and a job is not what I wanted. Um, and so I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've seen kind of all the things, the various ways you can
Mm-hmm.
earn money cooking in the
Mm-hmm.
industry. And honestly, I've just found no better fit um, than this specific lane
Mm-hmm.
as a personal chef. If someone is, you know, wants to be an entrepreneur, they don't want to cap on the income they can make. Because as I said before, I've been approached, um, you know, to be
Yeah.
hired by a particular person or family, some,
Yeah.
you know. Hey, have you ever wondered what type of personal chef business is actually the best fit for you? Like, should you be doing private dinner parties, meal prepping, or vacation gigs? Look, I got you. I created a free quiz that will tell you exactly which business model makes the most sense for your lifestyle, your strengths, and your goals. And it takes just 2 minutes to complete. At the end, you'll get a personalized roadmap that'll show you how to earn more while working less and the exact steps you need to get started. Don't waste time guessing. Hit the link in the description, take the quiz, and start building the personal chef business that's right for you.
Well,
Folks.
I know over the 15 years that you've been doing this, I have seen your growth
Yeah.
as far as going from just being your own team to growing your team. And so, can you share some of the things how you have seen the business side of it evolve as far as being a personal chef, the industry itself?
Sure.
Because I know you're making, you're doing some making some big changes and evolving the industry itself. So, what have you seen as far as in over your 15 years?
Uh, when I started as a personal chef, I started doing meal prep.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I knew at that time, and I literally Googled food jobs that do not require working in a restaurant.
Well,
And
that's one way to do it.
right. This is 2010, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd never even heard of this. I never heard of a personal chef at that time. And at that time, everything that I saw was a personal chef goes into a family's home and does meal prep.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have 2 or 3 families you work for. You're still an independent chef entrepreneur, but meal prep was the lane. Like that
Mm-hmm.
was the service. That's what personal chefs did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that is how I started. You had 1 family, and then 2, and then 3, and however many you can manage in a week. Of course, everybody wants their meal delivery, or their not delivery, their everyone wants their cook date to be on Monday because they want their meals for the week. So you're trying to fit 1 or 2 if you're really efficient, and on Monday, maybe Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
even maybe into Tuesday. But really, there is a cap on the number of uh, clients you can cook for if you're doing full meal prep.
Mhm.
You're making, 5 dinners, maybe 5 dinners and lunches. You're in someone's home 5 or 6 hours. And so during that 5 or 6 hours that you're in the home actually executing the cook
Mhm.
date, you can't be taking calls, you can't be doing emails, you can't be doing, like, you're focused on that
Mhm.
client. You're shopping, you're cleaning, you're packaging everything up, leave it there, do all those things, and then you're going to do it again either that same day later for another
Mhm.
family or the next day. And that was it. And even to this day, that's what most people associate a personal chef with,
Mhm.
right? So I kind of, it didn't fit with my ultimate goal,
Mhm.
which the feeling I wanted to get from cooking, or the joy that I do get from cooking, is with the people.
Mhm.
Seeing people experience my food, seeing, like, hearing the ums and
Mhm.
ahs, and watching their reaction. I mean, anybody who's is a bit like me, like, you give somebody a plate of food, you give somebody a dish, and you're just watching. You're waiting for like,
Yes.
what are they gonna say? And
Mhm.
like, like, they better say something, you know.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's like, I see you chewing still, but I mean, I'm gonna need you to give me some feedback, right?
Right.
And so that's really the part that I love about doing private dinner parties.
Mhm.
We are there. It's not a matter of, this family that you cook for with meal prep. They're gonna heat that food up, microwave it, or whatever the case may be during the week.
Mhm.
They're gonna email you feedback probably, but
Mhm.
it's transactional in nature.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, you're still just selling food. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a service, of course, but it is truly about the food, and it's about the dietary preferences of that family. Your creative freedom is limited, etc. So the shift that I am making in the industry is in entertaining and
Mhm.
providing an experience, a private dining experience. Um, so private dinner parties as a business
Mhm.
model
Mhm.
completely. No, without the need to even do meal prep
Mhm.
as a personal chef, which for some people and maybe the OGs in the industry seems like unheard of, right?
Mhm.
But you can do dinner parties as a business. You can be a vacation chef as a business. You can do, private, like, sip and cooking classes, like, as a business. So these are new streams of income,
Mhm.
new ways that are allowing personal chefs to be able to break that income ceiling,
Mhm.
because really there's no limit to the value you can add to those services. That's kind of one topic, right?
Mhm.
The value that you can add
Mhm.
to that service as opposed to a meal prep service.
So I'm listening,
Yeah,
right? And I'm thinking about new chefs coming into this business.
yeah,
And it almost sounds like, Lisa, you have actually created a whole new genre for the industry, right?
yeah.
Because you have the personal chef, then you have the private chef. But it sounds like to me what you're talking about is really something different.
Hmm.
It's not, you know? So what would you suggest for those that are looking into getting into either personal chef, um, private chef, and we're gonna have to come up with something for the experiences that you have created. Um, is there any specific steps that you think that they need to take, or would you like suggest that they, um, because your skill set, of course, was built over time.
Yes.
So if I'm coming into the industry as a personal chef or private chef, should I start with the meal prep or can I just jump straight in to what you're referring to as trying to do the experiences in the dinner parties and things like that?
That's a great question, Cynthia. And it is personal preference. It's not like meal prep is some kind of stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an entry
Okay.
point at
Got
all.
you.
You
Got you.
never have to do meal prep if you don't want to. In fact,
Hmm.
what I do, and in my world, in my system, people who follow me
Mm-hmm.
will see me say all the time, like, figure out what the lane is. And for all of my clients, coaching clients, or students in courses, the literal first thing we do is, like, here's all the buckets and the things that you can do. Here's all the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
What rings true to you? so they can decide, like, you know what? I want to be a vacation chef. I love
Mhm.
teaching. There's people who only do cooking classes. There's
Mhm.
people who do only bachelorette parties. It can
Mhm.
be that specific,
Oh, okay.
right? And so, you know, and then there's those who love meal prep.
Mhm.
They love just they don't want to be, they don't want to do dinner party. They don't want to be front and center. They don't want to,
Yeah.
they don't want the wall to come down,
Mhm.
between them and the client. They just want to cook, leave it. Usually the clients are at work, and that fits their lifestyle, fits their personality. So the fact it's that they have options.
Mhm.
I mean, that's really the truth is there are options.
Mhm.
But the first thing in any of my programs is to identify what it is that is going to be your sweet spot.
Mm.
Because if you are building a business,
Mhm.
you don't have a boss. You're the boss.
Mhm.
You get to decide.
Mhm.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't
Mhm.
have to work for any person or people or group, type of thing you don't want to do. You get to
Mhm.
decide.
Mhm.
That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
So you determine. There's no stepping stone. If you don't want to do meal prep, you never
Mhm.
have to do meal prep. If you don't want to do dinner parties, you
Mhm.
don't ever have to do that. But there are choices. And I tend to say, to your previous point
Mhm.
about the titles, I've struggled with that a little bit, but I've found myself saying more and more independent chef entrepreneurs.
Mm.
I've just found myself saying that because even chefs, especially chefs, they'll use personal chef as a synonymous term with meal prep.
Mm.
So they may say,
Mhm.
yeah, well, I do dinner parties, but I also do personal chef.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, it is, that's
Uh-huh.
all under personal chef. It's all under the
Mhm.
umbrella. Um, so it's being used synonymously with personal chef.
Mhm.
Like personal chef equals meal prep,
Mhm.
but that's not necessarily the case. Meal prep is a service that a personal chef can offer
Mhm.
among many other
Mhm.
services that we can offer. Hey, if you're on this journey to turn your passion for cooking into a real business, you don't have to do it alone. You need to join the Chefanista Collective. This is the place where you get the support that you need to accomplish the dream that you have. There are live masterclasses that take place, tons of resources in there, but the most important thing is you get to meet other chefs on the same journey, and we're in there celebrating our wins. All that's missing is you. This is your community, this is your tribe, and it's your time. So I'm offering you a 14-day free trial so you can hop in and see for yourself because this is something that really can't be explained. It has to be experienced. This is the way you get this done faster, stronger, and better because we do it together. So click the link in the description below to join the Chefanista Collective completely risk-free.
Okay. Well, as a layperson in this, um, what is the different? Let's throw catering in there. What
Yes.
how different is it? What space does it fit in in what you do?
This is so good because we call it the C word.
Not the C
We
word.
call we call catering the C word in
Uh-huh.
my community, in
Mhm.
the Chefanista community. We say the C word because a lot of the personal chefs are recovering caterers.
Oh.
Or that's another term that's very generally used and
Wait, 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 wait. What's a recovering caterer? What is that?
so a recovering caterer, so they've been catering.
Mhm.
They've been doing large pans of food, dropping them off, setting up on chafers. They're selling food.
Gotcha.
They're selling food.
Mhm.
Um, and it's, you I kind of call it that you just put out the troughs. You know what I'm saying? And you're not really there to
Mhm.
experience
Uh-huh.
the thing. You have to prepare 3-4 days in advance. You cook them 100, 150, 200, 300 people. I
Mhm.
mean, like, God bless them. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? We need caterers because I'm not
Mhm.
cooking for 500 and nothing. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, if you call a large catering company
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, I have a dinner party for 6," they're gonna say, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
we don't do that."
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, there's no chafer for 6 people.
Yeah.
So there's no chafers made
Yeah.
for 6 people, and that's what we know. We know setting up chafers. Um, so It's interesting because even in our world, I am really trying to create a common language around these
Mhm.
things in this industry.
Mhm.
Um, so, um, so catering is also used. You may hear a personal chef say, "Well, I do catering, I do personal chef," but
Mhm.
what they mean is they're going in to do a private dinner party in someone's home, and they will call that catering,
Mhm.
and they call meal prep personal chefing.
Mhm.
I know it's if it's confusing within our own industry, but
Well, I was
my
just gonna say,
yeah.
is there one umbrella that falls under, or all these things kind of, you know, sold separately, so to speak, for
it's
lack of a better term?
it's just different. Let me give you this is the instead of Merriam-Webster definition, this is the Lisa Brooks definition
Okay.
of these
Give it to
things.
us. Give it
Okay.
to us.
So, catering means I am working in a commercial kitchen. I am inspected by the health department. I am I am able to serve the public because of that. I am
Mhm.
licensed as a caterer in my state, and I typically am preparing food in my commercial kitchen and transporting it to an event, a place, a location, a venue, and setting it up. Okay? A personal chef will take the ingredients, the groceries,
Mhm.
and some tools and go into private homes working for private individuals, not the public, and go in and prepare the food on site in that home. Our
Mhm.
client's kitchens are our kitchens.
Mhm.
That is the big differentiator between a caterer and a personal chef.
Okay.
And then now we throw in the private chef.
Mhm.
The private chef goes to the same house every day working for the same people
Gotcha.
all the time.
Mhm.
They may do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They may do special dinner parties if their
Mhm.
people are having guests over. They may travel with these folks when they go on vacation,
Mhm.
but they are solely focused on that one client of whom they're an employee.
Hmm. Interesting. So the auntie that's staying down the street, cooking the trays of food and stuff like that, is that considered catering? A step
That's
in.
considered bootleg. That's considered bootleg catering. If you serving
Okay.
the public at your house,
Mhm.
unless there's cottage laws in some states there are where you can do that, but that's bootleg.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get these women away from.
Mhm.
Like don't do it illegitimately. Do it legitimately.
Right.
Like be the best. Let's just flip the script. If you're gonna be a caterer and you want to be a caterer and you want to make pans of food,
Mhm.
go get a commercial kitchen, get inspected. You can serve however
Mhm.
many folks. What I submit is that if you, especially in my target demographic, if you will, it's
Mhm.
typically kind of an older woman. Like it's maybe someone 38 or older, even
Mhm.
40s or 50s,
Mhm.
sometimes even 60s
Mhm.
that I'm working with that this is a second chapter for them.
Mhm.
And so we don't want the physical toil of
Mhm.
transporting Cambros and chafers. You got to have a big storage unit where you keep all this crap. You know what I mean? Again, no shade on the caterers.
Mhm.
God bless you. We need you.
Mhm.
We need the food trucks. We need the restaurants. We need everybody in their spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing their thing,
Yeah.
right? What they love to do, what gives them joy. What I am showing women who can cook is there is a new opportunity,
Mhm.
a new path, a different way
Mhm.
to achieve all these things. You
Mhm.
can achieve the satisfaction and fulfillment that comes with cooking for people.
Mhm.
You want to share your food, you want to get your food out there, you want to share your gift, your talent.
Mhm.
At the same time, you want to make money, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You want to make money. We don't want to sell plates. We don't want to, sell,
Mhm.
you're not trying to make the money $15, $20 at a time,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
We're not doing, I mean,
Yeah.
we can hustle. We know that. Like
Mhm.
been there, done it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
When I first moved to Charlotte, I was, going up to the
Mhm.
barbershop, like,
Mhm.
oh, I can make y'all's lunch every day.
Uh-huh.
Like that's selling plates. But we know how to do that. We know how to hustle. But what we can do is elevate our offerings. We can take the food that we create, that is generational in most cases,
Mhm.
right? Passed down from grandma to mom to you.
Mhm.
It's who you are. It's who we are. and we got the seasoning, we got the flavor.
Mhm.
What we need is a system to come together. It's just systematically, kind of. I see the vision of the graphic of the United States with all the little red pins on it of women with these six-figure personal chef
Mhm.
businesses, who are independent entrepreneurs, who are bosses, who can charge, or they can command um, really amazing amounts of money
Mhm.
for much less physical effort,
Mhm.
right? It's your creativity that you're exchanging for money
Mhm.
rather than truly exchanging your time for
Mhm.
money. You are watching this because you know there has to be more. You're tired of cooking your heart out without seeing it in your bank account. Maybe you're thinking you need a culinary degree, or that you'll have to work 80-hour weeks in a restaurant first. I'm here to tell you that that's simply not true. I was just like you, stuck in a corporate job at 40 years old, dreaming of turning my passion for cooking into something more. Now I run a $500,000 a year personal chef business, and I've been featured in Forbes magazine and Ebony and even on the Food Network. But here's what really matters most. I've helped hundreds of other passionate cooks just like you do the same thing. No culinary degree required, no crazy hours, just a proven system that works. That's why I created the 5-step personal chef kickstart strategy. This guide breaks down exactly how to build a business that gives you freedom, create experiences clients can't resist, craft an irresistible online presence, land your first high paying clients, and start making money doing what you love. No fluff, no theory, just the exact steps I use to build my business and that my students are using right now to build theirs. Click the link in the description below to get the 5-step personal chef kickstart strategy. Do not let another day go by wondering what if. Your future as a successful personal chef starts right now.
Okay. So let's see. I think I have. There's two things that are popping into my mind before we close this episode out, and I think what's coming to my mind is I'm thinking again about your journey,
Uh huh.
right?
Yeah.
And so for those that are coming in, first, I think it would be interesting to know what a typical day was like for you. When and because I know it's a lot different now, but when you started out
Yeah.
um as a personal chef, what was a typical day like for you? And then going into that to end it up, what type of passion and dedication do you have
Mm.
to actually be in this profession, to be in this industry, to
Mm.
build a business, a six-figure business?
Yeah.
Because no one's getting into this. Well, I'm sure people get into it because they love to cook, but eventually it's like I want to make something,
Yeah.
out of this.
I
So,
mean, knowing how to cook, it
mm-hmm,
definitely isn't enough,
mm-hmm,
right? Um,
that's good.
like of course, you need to know how to cook. That
Mm-hmm,
take that for granted, right?
mm-hmm,
Just
mm-hmm,
like love isn't enough to sustain a relationship, right? You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Hello.
I mean, you know what I mean? It take a whole lot more than just
Right,
the love, right?
right.
So it's the same in this. Like to be able to cook, I mean, that's just assumed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know you know how to cook,
Right,
right?
right.
You know how to cook.
Mm-hmm,
Everybody's told you that forever, right?
mm-hmm,
Okay, now let's monetize it and do it strategically. Let's figure out who it is that we want to serve. Where
mm-hmm,
are we going to get the most bang for the buck? Where are we going to be
mm-hmm,
able to um, really uh, maximize the
mm-hmm,
potential,
mm-hmm,
right? And so you got the cooking skills, but you know, just the professionalism,
mm-hmm,
the ability to speak charismatically and confidently about what you do,
mm-hmm,
the ability to um, describe your menu items, to elevate actually even your menu items, to
mm-hmm,
elevate the things that you prepare. I literally just did a challenge in my community, the Chefanista community.
mm-hmm,
Um, I did a challenge of for people because most of the people who I serve are Black and brown women, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And so it's like Southern food, soul food, country food, whatever you want to call it, like that stuff we just do with our eyes closed.
mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, I can't take that. The misconception is I can't take that and make it like for a 5-course dinner
Mhm.
party, or
Mhm.
wealthy neighborhoods, and mansions,
Mhm.
and make it high end, Michelin star quality plating.
Mhm.
And I say, absolutely, you can,
Mhm.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Now let me show you how to do that.
Right.
Right? We literally just did a challenge the other night of, like, take something that you think is just, I mean, you would just make it for your family on
Mhm.
a weeknight, or
Mhm.
even if it's like a family gathering, like good old country stuff. Like, let's come up with it now. Let's reimagine it. Let's
Mhm.
reimagine the thing.
Mhm.
Get inspiration from images you may see, the way people plate different things, and like, how can you change the vehicle in which you present it. So I mean, I'm getting kind of granular here, but the point is that the creativity, the ability to think differently,
Mhm.
like have a kind of a mindset shift, that no, that what I do is valuable.
Mhm.
It's just the way I've been packaging it up doesn't show the
Mhm.
value. So I am teaching people how to package up what you already know how to do,
Mhm.
package it up in a way that increases exponentially the perceived value, so that you have this magic
Mhm.
formula of working less and earning more.
Mhm.
What makes that jump is the value of what
Mhm.
you offer. And so that's what needs to take place. So you asked me a couple of questions.
Mhm.
Um, and I know you asked me about the typical day.
Mhm.
But I really want to just drive this point home of what's required or what's needed.
Mhm.
If you have a passion,
Mhm.
I can't teach you. If you don't have passion, I can't
Mhm.
teach that to you.
Right.
No one can. I saw people in culinary school, when I was in culinary school,
Mhm.
who were just there, just like anybody else who's in school for any other reason. You see
Mhm.
people there who have a passion for it. You have people there,
Yeah.
they just check that box. Well, I just try culinary. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So if you have a passion for food, a passion for cooking,
Mhm.
passion for transforming ingredients,
Mhm.
stirring up some groceries, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
That lights you up. And you have a passion for people.
Mhm.
You love to serve. You
Mhm.
have a spirit of hospitality.
Mhm.
Then the final thing is a willingness, then, to have an open mind, and the willingness to learn new techniques, new terminology, new ways of doing things, learn how to operate a
Mhm.
business, learn technology in some cases,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, to do the things that you need to do to repackage yourself.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Because is I always say it's simple.
Mhm.
I get a lot of hate in my comments for saying,
Mhm.
oh, it's easy to be a personal chef. So it's actually not easy. It's simple though.
There it is.
It's
Mhm.
simple. I mean,
But it's not easy.
losing
Mhm.
weight is simple.
Simple. We
It's a,
we know
it's a
what
simple.
needs to be
We know
done.
exactly. The
Right. It's
formula
just
is
mhm.
very simple.
Mhm.
You eat less calories than you expend.
Mhm.
That's it. That's how you
Mhm.
lose weight.
Mhm.
Is it easy to lose weight?
But it's no.
No. Is it easy to go to the gym? Is it easy
Mhm.
to eat less than what you see in front of you? No. It's
Mhm.
not easy, but the formula is simple.
Mhm.
And so what I'm saying is that this formula is simple.
Mhm.
I've got it down pat. The 15 years of my experience,
Mhm.
I have collapsed that
Mhm.
time. So someone's not going to have to go through all the things I went through. I learned the lessons not for me. I mean,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
learned the lessons. The lessons weren't for me,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Like a tree can't eat its own fruit. So the
Right.
fruit I bear is for
All right,
y'all,
girl. All right. All right. All right.
right?
Mhm.
So I've already done it. I've been there, done it, and here's the fruit on my tree.
Mhm.
Come and grab,
Mhm.
come and get
Mhm.
it, and expedite your journey
Mhm.
um, in this. And it's just my mission to
Yeah.
make sure that it happens. I mean, I really want us to reclaim what is really originally
Mhm.
ours.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff. That really is. Because I mean, to have that, to be taught by you, and just to listen to you speak about this profession, this industry, about something that you love, and to have that passion, um, and to know that, you know, I think people don't understand sometimes that you don't necessarily have to go in there with it, but eventually you have to have it, because when you hit that wall, and this is with anything in life, folks,
Yes.
when you hit that wall, you need to know your why. You need to have that. excuse me, that passion for what you're doing and to understand why you're there. And there's always a bigger purpose. And so when you hit those lows and you dip into the valley, you have to dip back in to be like, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I've again seen you evolve through that, and grow this business and doing some great things out there and changing the industry definitely. So with that being said,
Yes.
you know, let's tell the folks how they can get in touch with you.
Before we do that, I want to circle back because you did ask about like a typical day.
Yes.
And I don't, you said like before, and
Mhm.
my typical day when I was doing meal prep
Mhm.
or the typical day as like what we're doing now, because
Mhm.
every day is different as a personal chef. It's one of the things that I teach and train on,
Mhm.
as a meal prep chef, starting out doing solely meal prep.
Mhm.
It's arriving at my client's home. They are there in most cases. I've got a key or a code to get in, and
Mhm.
bringing in the groceries again. Throw my AirPods on
Mhm.
and get everything going.
Mhm.
And and I have a plan I'm working through to get however many meals I have to prepare. Again, sometimes it's 5 dinners, sometimes it's 5 dinners, 5 lunches, whatever it is that the plan is.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'm weighing and measuring because there are dietary preferences or preferences in regards to carbs and the macros, the
Mhm.
protein, um, and the various needs of the client. So you're not cooking carefree
Mhm.
because you have to, you're solving a problem these people have as to what they need to eat. And so, but you're doing all of that, you're getting it packaged up, everything cooled down, everything done temperature wise safely, packaged, labeled in the refrigerator with heat instructions, and
Mhm.
then you leave. That's like the day in the life of a meal prep chef.
Mhm.
The Like the day in the life of a dinner party chef. Let's see, I can go get my nails done by 10 a.m., go to the barbershop, get a haircut,
Uh-huh.
go grab my groceries maybe about 3 o'clock,
Mhm.
and then grab I keep my tools. I keep my go bag in the back of my SUV.
Mhm.
It's just got all my tools in it, my pots and pans and my knife kit and everything.
Mhm.
And then get dressed, go to the client's home, greet them, have an amazing, uh, execution of like 3 courses, 4 courses, 5 courses,
Mhm.
whatever that case may be. My team meets me there, server or two, or maybe a sous chef, depending on the size of the
Mhm.
event. Have an amazing event where there may be 3 hours, 4 max. Clean up, pack my little go bag up, go right back in the
Mhm.
SUV. There's no more groceries. We used all those. We take the trash out. You know,
Mhm.
that's a $3,000, $4,000, $6,000 night,
Yeah.
and few crisp hundreds in our hand at the end of the
Mhm.
night, for gratuity, and we feel we've gotten to interact, we've gotten to help people celebrate life's moments. We feel fulfilled, we feel just super satisfied, like joy. We feel joyful,
Mhm.
and then I'm back home in time to catch the Duke Carolina game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the day in the life of a personal chef who
Mhm.
who specializes in private dinner parties. We're not preparing for this thing 3-4 days in advance like a
Yeah.
caterer, right?
Yeah.
So that's just one example. Of
Mhm.
course, when someone trains with me, when someone is in my world and they are
Mhm.
are training in my system, my
Mhm.
six-figure personal chef system, where we identify these lanes and I help you build your business, the business you want, the business that fits your sweet spot, and help you building it out. So every one of those services is going to look different. If you're doing vacation chefing, a day in the life of doing a vacation chefing job or a week, it looks different.
Mhm.
If you are doing cook and sip classes, cooking classes, um, that looks different.
Mhm.
So to have that roadmap and the roadmap to get there, but also literally like this is the anatomy of this type of event. This is
Mhm.
how it works.
Yeah.
This is the logistics that you have to take into consideration. Like I had walk through step by step. You will know the best practices, how to do the thing. And then when you have that confidence because you're prepared,
Mhm.
then you can add all the creative flair and your own things to it and make it yours. But I think I know my training, um, what it provides is the preparation
Mhm.
that it's a preparation that provides the confidence
Uh-huh.
that allows someone to go in and own this thing. Because what I don't just offer information,
Right.
I am offering transformation.
All right now. Mm. Yeah.
And on that, the way you can find me and all things Chef Lisa Brooks, down in the description, you can find out information about my programs, my coaching, all things Chef Lisa. And do not forget to hit the like, hit the subscribe. You can share this, and also click that little bell so you can get notifications when we post new things. And we will see you in the next episode.